They say every child is born with potential, but in the township, potential is often buried before it even breathes. Not because the kids aren't clever, not because they don't care, but because from the moment they open their eyes, the world whispers the same message. Don't expect too much.
Before they even learn to dream, life starts teaching them to shrink. Here, a child's future can be shaped by things they never chose. The street they were born on, the chaos around them, the parents who are trying but overwhelmed, or the ones who stopped trying long ago. This is a place where a report card competes with the sound of gunshots, where homework has to fight for attention against hunger, where talent gets buried under responsibility, trauma, and survival. And slowly, quietly, the flame inside them dims.
Not because they lack ambition, but because the world around them gives them 1,000 reasons to stop believing. This is the story of why so many township kids give up. Not at 18, not at 16, but sometimes long before they ever get a real chance to begin.
Imagine being 6 years old. Your uniform is too big, your shoes are too small, and your backpack used to belong to someone 2 families over. You walk into a classroom packed with 50 other kids, all squeezed into desks that wobble when you breathe. 2 windows are cracked, letting in cold wind in winter and dust in summer. And your teacher, tired, overwhelmed, underpaid, stopped trying to inspire anyone years ago.
Not because she doesn't care, but because she's fighting a battle she's been losing alone. At home, things aren't any easier. There's no study desk, just a kitchen table that everyone shares. No Wi-Fi, sometimes not even electricity. You do your homework by candlelight, then hide it because someone will tease you for trying too hard.
You love learning. You're curious about everything. You ask big questions like, why does the moon follow us? Or, how do planes stay in the sky? But the moment you show interest, someone laughs. You're acting smart. As if being intelligent is a crime. As if dreaming is disrespectful.
You want to be a scientist, but you've never met one. The closest thing you've seen is a picture in a textbook, missing half its pages. And so, little by little, the world around you begins to whisper a message so soft you don't notice it at first, but so constant it becomes truth. People like us don't make it. By the time you reach your teens, that whisper becomes a belief, a heavy one. A voice that sits on your shoulder every time you try. And eventually, you stop trying.
In the township, there's a silent competition. Not for excellence, not for dreams, but simply for survival. Here, the goal isn't to rise above. It's to not fall behind, to blend in, to avoid becoming a target.
Because when success feels like a distant country, fitting in becomes safer than standing out. So the few who still dare to try, the ones who bring books to school, who ask questions, who stay after class, who dream bigger than the street they live on, they stick out like a loose nail.
And loose nails always get hammered down.
People laugh at them, mock them, roll their eyes as if ambition is disrespect. Hayi lona uzenza beter, they say. Not out of hatred, but out of fear. Fear of being left behind. Fear that someone their age might escape a life they've already accepted.
And when you hear that sentence enough times, when the people closest to you question your dreams, something inside you shifts. Not all at once, more like a slow cracking, a quiet breaking that nobody sees. It's not the lack of intelligence that kills a child's drive. It's not laziness. It's not bad attitude. It's the fear of being alone in their ambition. The fear that chasing a dream means losing your people, losing your identity, losing your place in a world that punishes difference. So many kids stop dreaming, not because they can't make it, but because they're scared they'll have to make it alone.
Many township children carry invisible weight, burdens so heavy even adults pretend not to see them. They grew up in homes where love exists, but only when there's money, or when someone isn't stressed, or when tempers aren't stretched thin from life's pressure. Some parents care deeply, but they're exhausted. Some are present, but emotionally absent. Some are broken by dreams they never got to chase, and that brokenness spills into the next generation. So a child learns very early that survival comes first, that school is secondary, that homework is optional, that hunger, electricity cuts, and neighborhood chaos will always cancel out the best intentions.
A child learns that food today matters more than a future tomorrow. And so their dreams don't shatter in one dramatic event. There's no big explosion, no single tragic moment. Instead, dreams die quietly in tiny, daily sacrifices that seem harmless at first. Ja, hi man, nizofuna ngomso. Nizoba right man, nizophosa nje itest hewan. Yokonda uzihlekisa ngabantu ba right. Phofu abantu abafana nama bayi enyuvesi kakade.
Every compromise chips away at ambition like slow erosion on a stone. Not enough to notice today, but enough to change everything over years. And by the time these kids reach the age where they're finally old enough to chase a dream, they've already convinced themselves they're not the kind of people who dream at all.
When the world gives you no purpose, distractions quickly rush in to fill the emptiness. Alcohol becomes courage, a shortcut to feeling brave in a life where everything else feels uncontrollable. Gossip becomes comfort, a temporary escape from reality, a way to bond over someone else's problems so you can forget your own.
And rebellion becomes identity. Not because they're wild, not because they're problem kids, but because being feared is sometimes easier than admitting you feel invisible.
Township youth are not reckless by nature. They are human, and hopelessness is a heavy, suffocating thing. It pushes people to numb the pain instead of confronting the reason it exists. Some kids lose themselves completely, slipping into addiction, into violence, into habits they never wanted but couldn't outrun.
Others wear a mask of not caring, laughing loudly, acting tough, pretending life doesn't hurt, even when deep down they're desperate for someone to believe in them.
In a place where dreams feel distant, these distractions become survival mechanisms, not signs of failure, but signs of a generation trying its best to feel something other than defeat.
But every township still has that one child, the one who stays behind after class, still hungry to understand what others rush through. The one who walks home long after sunset, not because they have to, but because they want their life to mean something more.
The one who reads by candlelight, turning each page slowly, carefully, knowing that every sentence is a small rebellion against the limitations placed on them.
The one who refuses to be defined by where they were born, who sees poverty but does not let it become their identity, who feels the weight of the township on their shoulders, yet still stands tall. They are rare, diamonds hidden in dust, flowers growing in concrete, proof that potential is not a luxury. It is a frame that survives even in the coldest rooms.
These children remind us that environment can shape you, bend you, pressure you, but it does not have to break you. They show us that greatness is not reserved for the privileged, that even in the hardest soil, something strong, beautiful, and extraordinary can still take root.
And sometimes, all it takes is one child to show an entire community what is possible.
The truth is, most township kids don't give up because they are weak. They give up because the system gives up on them first. The schools crumble before they even get a chance to try. The families are fighting silent battles they never speak about. The government shows up only in speeches, and the community, tired, wounded, and surviving, can offer advice, but not always guidance.
Everywhere they look, expectations are low. So eventually, they lower their expectations too. Not out of failure, but out of protection. Because dreaming big in a place that punishes hope is painful.
And once a child starts believing that they were never meant to succeed, the world has already taken their future without touching their hands. Breaking that cycle isn't easy. It requires more than money, more than textbooks, school uniforms, or empty motivation.
It requires something deeper, something that can't be bought. Belief. Belief from teachers who still see potential in crowded classrooms. Belief from parents who encourage even when they are exhausted. Belief from a community willing to say, Funda ongaye kimtanam, autalelwanga into peko. Because sometimes all a child needs is one person who refuses to give up on them before they learn to stop giving up on themselves.
And belief begins with awareness. Awareness of what shaped you, and awareness of what no longer has to hold you. If you grew up in the township, hear this clearly. You are not lazy. You are not stupid. You are not destined to fail. You've been surviving in a system that was never designed for you to win. A system that drains your energy, steals your confidence, and convinces you that dreaming is a waste of time. But here's the part nobody tells you. The world has changed, and the gatekeepers no longer own your future. Today,
The internet gives you what the system didn't. Knowledge at your fingertips, opportunities that don't require permission, and connections to people who think like you, dream like you, and want more out of life, just like you.
Your escape doesn't start with luck. It starts with learning, slowly, quietly, consistently. One tutorial, one skill, one new piece of information that your younger self never had access to. Because the moment your mind escapes the boundaries of the township, your body will eventually follow. Not overnight, not magically, but inevitably. Growth begins in the unseen parts of you, in the curiosity you feed, in the knowledge you chase, in the belief you rebuild piece by piece. And when your mind finally understands that you were always capable, the world that once trapped you won't be able to hold you anymore.
This is understanding the township mentality, a journey into the unseen battles, unheard stories, and unspoken truths shaping millions of lives. Because sometimes, before we can change the future, we must first understand the pain, the struggle, and the resilience that built the present.
If you believe in breaking the cycle, if you believe in rewriting what's possible, if you believe every child deserves a chance, subscribe, not just to support the channel, but to be part of a movement that refuses to let potential die where it was born.